Hey there, I'm back. This is Greg, the Masked Gamer. I'm not going to do my normal intro on this whole series. I'm just going to keep playing the game. And that's what it's going to be. Where we left off, we just read the first paragraph in the main storybook for Cycle 4 of Aeon Trespass Odyssey. Um, I played it back. You can hear the narrator voices, but you can't hear any of the background music. I have done everything that I can think of in the last hour or two trying to figure out how to get those sound effects to play. However, I can't do so. So what's probably going to happen here is I'm going to play the accompaniment, and when there's just sound and no voice, I'm going to do stage directions and go boom, boom, crash, crash, boom, and just kind of see how that works. All right. So the time front enveloped the Argo, and here we go. We're going to press the next chapter. It does not play automatically, so here we go. It is playing, but no sound. Oh, no, here we go.
Hear me, Poseidon, dark-tressed earth-bearer. If I am your son, if you say you are my father, let Odysseus, sacker of cities and son of Laertes, never reach his home on Ithaca. Yet if he is destined to see his friends and his fine house in his own country, may he come there late and in sore distress, in another ship, losing all comrades, and let him find great trouble in his house. The cruel voice echoes through the half-lit corridors of the Argo. This curse was inflicted once before, and now it has been revisited upon the city ship and all of its inhabitants, casting them here, wherever here is.
There's wind.
Wind
Here's sand.
howls across the midnight dunes, the ebony sands shifting on fierce, swift zephyrs. Aside from the shrill calls of the gusts, it is utterly still, just an endless black desert, the likes of which was never seen or heard of. The vast dark shadow of the Argo looms high, an imposing mountain of metal and stone. It shifts uncertainly, settling a little deeper into the sands. A large gash runs along the hull, from the shriveled remains of the grand cannon almost to the stern. If the city ship would ever be forced to sail, it would founder. Atop, a temple complex devoid of divine patrons remains dark, the Balanean hidden within, shattered beyond repair. And still further above, strange skies with alien stars.
Okay, so it says to check the stranded Argo rules in the Cycle 4 storybook, which just before I started filming said don't read this until prompted by a game effect, but there's no game before it, so it just makes it a little slower. So I'm going to read this out loud. The stranded Argo. I think some of this is from the text. Read only after being prompted by a game effect. Okay. The Argo shifts uncertainly, settling a little deeper into the sands. There's a large gash along the hull from the shriveled. Oh, this was said before. A large gash runs along the hull from the shriveled. Yeah, that was in the text before, but I'm going to read it anyway. Shriveled remains of the Grand Cannon to the stern. If the city ship would ever be forced to sail, it would sink. The junction Balanonion, Balanonion. I have a little spec here. Let me see. It's gone now. Balananion. I can't say it. Where dreams of power were dreams since you left Cephalonia is gone, burned to a cinder. The 13th muse, which is the cannon that pierced the heavens, a twisted, withered husk. An era has ended and a new one has begun. Oh, those are a little bit different words, actually. Okay. The Argo has been cast onto the barren wasteland of the thrice cursed Persia. As a result of that and the climactic encounter of Cycle 3, apply the following changes. First, disable the following technologies and return them to the box. We have to disable the 13th Muse cannon, which is great because I didn't take the cannon out anyway, but I do have payloads that I need to make go away. We're going to disable time skip, time dilation, and arrow barrage. Time dilation, time skip, and Where's our arrow barrage? So these are the ones that we are losing permanently. We are losing arrow barrage, which let us place a break token or 2 opening tokens into the Kratos pool. We are oh, I didn't have my little like that. Nope, like that. We are losing time skip, which has all this weird text on the top that no, I never, ever, ever. Come on, come on. Give me focus. Give me. Oh my gosh. I did all of that stuff and now like this isn't gonna focus, is it? Move this stuff out of the way, maybe. Time skip. Come on. Come on. Oh, jeez. Okay, let's play with this a little bit. Focus. Let's see if we go to ultra wide, does it work? Ultra wide. Yep, that then you can see time skip and all of that little like text underneath that I can't read, which is great. So if I go to regular wide, it is not autofocusing for some reason. Nope, not autofocusing with regular wide. Ugh, I hate technology. Let's try this. Nope. Let's try this. Ah, wait, it almost worked. Um, hold on. Framing, autofocus, autofocus, autofocus. They moved everything on here since the last time I used it. This says auto. What's this? Oh, that's better. Time skip. What does this one say? Click to focus. Click anywhere in the camera. And then if that goes down, it focuses out. If this goes up, focuses in. Perfect. Okay. So these things have all this little text on it, which I did never translate, but apparently there is translations to them. I have not figured them out. Whatever. Um, and time dilation, which also has some of that fun little text. And those are the ones that let you perform an additional attack action or an additional movement action. So those are gone. As well as where did I throw the arrow barrage? I don't know where I threw the arrow barrage. Well, it's gone both from the game and real. Oh no, it's on this on the book here. So these cards are gone forever. Okay, great. So that's one thing. Next, um, all paradox cards are disabled and should be returned to the box. They will not be used in this or future cycles. You may still use them from the Menestus Theater. Note that transient death is cycle 3, and that is also disabled from now on. So okay, so we need to find that one. Transient death. I feel like I've definitely used that. Ah, here we go. Transient death, cycle 3 only. Thanks for the reminder. That's the one that lets you lose a Titan from the Argo to come back to life with their time. Well, there's not going to be any time anchors, so that wouldn't make any sense now. Anyway, so that goes away. We're going to take our little equipment pile here and get rid of everything with the paradox keyword. And it reminded us to note the reduced Argo stat limits on your Argo sheet, which I already did. So let's remove everything with paradox on it. That's not paradox. Paradox. Yep. Times arrow. No, I like that one. Can barely read the bottom of the cycle 2 ones. Paradox. Goodbye, spiral spear. I spent so many shells on you. So sad. Goodbye, Skyfall. That was a fun one. Um, See, they could have just let me read this before I started, and then you wouldn't need to watch this happening. But this is what they do. This is how they do it. They want this to happen after everyone's sitting at the table. Oh no, not the horse skull pauldrons! Ah, oh, fudge pickles. What else? Paradox. Ontological module, fate safer. Paradox. The prototype trespass device, that was the one that gave me like a free like don't die. Timeline synchronizer. Can't read the bottom of these. Oh no, the Enigma of Transformation. Okay, so this is a bunch more equipment that goes away. Now I already thinned out that equipment deck somewhat to just like only have things that might be useful. So these are the cards that we're saying goodbye to. The Argo has been stranded, so those are going to go away. All right, and back to here. Okay, now there's more things. We're going to gain some Cycle 4 technology cards. Okay, so those are here. I don't know where I put them from. They're in here somewhere. Cycle 4. Cycle 4 technology cards. Okay, so we're going to get a whole bunch of stuff, and you're going to get to watch me do all of this bookkeeping. So exciting. Okay, so first we have got Cinder ranged weapons. I'm gonna, can you, yep, there. Cinder ranged weapons. I'm gonna make that a little bigger here, is what I'm gonna do. Instead of changing the view, we're gonna do this. And I'm gonna put this, whoops, nope, that's what I'm doing. Okay. I'm gonna take this up here next to my face. And I'm gonna move a little bit to the right, because right and left are different. And we're going to look at things that way. Okay, so we have Cinder ranged weapons. Dun, 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 dun. And this says weapons capable of chasing the sun across the horizon. This is going to lead to Irem protocols and Wish Deflector. So we're going to take our little trusty app thing here, and we're going to move over here, and that way we can really see me better. So we're going to take this, and we're going to, under technology, we're going to search for, we're going to press plus to add a technology, and it's going to be Cinder ranged weapons. And we're going to add to technology list and add its following technologies to the project deck. So that's going to track that for me. And Cinder ranged weapons are going to let us make a few different things. They're going to, it has the Seer Breakers, and that's going to allow us to make, oh God, this is going to take so long, and I'm so sorry, but this is the game. Okay, that's going to let us make a whole bunch of technology, a whole bunch of items here. Let's hope that I grab the right pile of stuff to do this with. Okay, so the things that is going to let us make are going to be Dusk Edges, Ember Spear, Withered Javelin, and Corona Discus. Dusk Edges, okay. Ember Spear, okay. Withered Javelin, okay. And Corona Discus. So we're going to talk about these items before we go on to the next card. Okay, so we have the Dusk Edges. Here's what they look like. Oop. What's that? Yep, it's working. Okay. Eking out the most from the last rays of the sun. These are a two-handed weapon. You can roll 2 dice to attack. But you can also discard a fire token from the Kratos pool to get an extra dice up to 3 times. Has a +3 to hit, and each hit will do a red die, so you can get up to 5 red dice if you have enough fire. Has reposition 3, black 1. Each miss gives you an opening 1 for the next. Oh, that's good. It gives you stuff for the next thing. But at the start of the battle, you will get a ambrosia token, and when your danger is 6 or higher, it will give you fire 1. So I'm going to start kind of building my you can buy things pile. I'm gonna build my you can buy things pile over here. Okay. Next item, and that costs 7 Imperial Scrolls, 5 mutable ambrosias. Oh, and I need to put this card into my trusty last tome binder, which is not going to be on the table because the game has too much stuff already. But I'm going to go ahead and start to put this stuff in here so I don't lose it later. So we're going to start with Cinder ranged weapons. Boom. Okay, next we have the Ember Spear. Here is what it looks like. Ember Spear. Okay. This says, until we draw our last breath, the embers of Hyperborea will be remembered. Okay. It has 3 dice to attack, +2 to hit. We like that. Um, you roll red dice, but the crit die gives you a black die instead. So it's basically a black and 2 reds. You get +1 automatic damage. We love automatic damage because Greg sucks at rolling dice. It has reach 2, very important. Fire 2, opening 2, and commit, which means you have to spend a fate to use it. And then it has this keyword sun starved. And if you're sun starved, you can use a fate to give it precise. So sun starved is a new keyword, which means there's no fire tokens in the Kratos pool. Okay, so this is definitely a tool for an opener, and I always forget what precise means. So we're gonna have to go back through 6 different books to find the keyword precise because that's how it works here. So let's see, is it in book 4, book 3? Precise, precise. Nope. Okay, is it in book 2? Oh, maybe it's on their little handout sheets. Precise, precise. Nope. Let's see if it's in book 2. Precise, precise, precise. During the draw BP card step, after you draw the card, you can target the top card of the discard pile and then shuffle that, shuffle that, shuffle that. So yeah, so this is a good opener item. So we're going to put this over here for opening. And I feel like this dusk one is a good one for later on when there's a lot of fire, so that'll go after the Ember Spear. This is on the assumption I buy these items for everybody. Next, we have the Withered Javelin. Here is what the Withered Javelin looks like. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I don't have any of the items that I need to make these things, but it's a combination of Imperial Scrolls, Mutable Ambrosia, Blackened Halos, Old Iron Fragments, and Cursed Bloat Sacks. Cool. All right. Great. Withered Javelin. We roll 4 dice to hit. We like that. It's +4 to hit. We like that. Range 2 to 5. So this is important because one of the rules of this new area is there's this like staircase thingy, and you can't use ranged weapons within it. So these ranged weapons will not be good against the Babylonian lunacy and the Demijin who use that mechanic. It gives you reposition 1. It's cumbersome, which means you have to exhaust it potentially. It has Sunbask 2, which means I can, if Sunbask 2, I can remove 2 fire tokens from the Kratos pool to change the range to 2 to 6 instead and give it auto break 2. So I can still kind of use those because I get the break out of them if I do that. But it uses the fire, and then I need the fire. I don't need, and then I need the fire for the dusk edges. So those kind of go like that. I don't know why I'm building this little tower over here that you can't see, but I am. Okay. And then finally, we have the Corona Discus. Looks like that. And that says, a gift of those who left for the domain, may they live on in our memory. And this has 2 dice to attack, +3 to hit their black dice. Range 2 to 3. It gives you fire 2, opening 1, auto break 1, reposition 1, and cumbersome. And if there's no fire in the pool, you get +1 wound. So I want to use fire and then lose fire. So we're gonna want it to be something like this. If I'm gonna get those 4 weapons, it's if I'm gonna get those 4 weapons. We still have a lot more to do here. This should have all been done before I started so that I could have had this already. But this is, again, this is how the game works. This is how the game goes. This is what we're doing. All right. Next, we need the Cinder Armor. Okay. So Cinder Armor is here. Okay. Cinder Armor. Bum. Cinder Armor. Cinder Armor. Cinder Armor. Okay. And that says once the source of light was known, it stopped providing warmth. This was going to lead to Wish Deflector and Imperial Deprived Armorer. So we're going to pop that into our app. Plus Cinder armor. Add to technology list. Add those technologies to the project deck. Okay, Cinder armor. Oh, I have to. Oh, that's what I haven't been doing. I need to build a technology deck while I'm doing all of this. So, and I didn't. Oh, I didn't do that for any of these other beginning things either. So let me take care of that now. There should be a few things in there. Curse exchange, law mora, and so we need to have some other technologies available to us already to learn later. Law mora. Yep. Curse. We need curse exchange and superior titan breeding. Curse exchange, superior titan breeding. So these are the ones that we can learn from those, and then we're going to start building the ones that we can learn from these. So I need Iron protocols, wish deflector, and imperial deprived armor. Imperial deprived armor. Um, Gen Iron protocols and wish deflector. Okay. And so these are the combat ones that we can learn later. Fudge pickles. Fudge pickles. Okay, so these go. All right. So I did that right this time. Okay, so now we have the Cinder Armorer. This is the Eclipse screen. It's going to give us some more things that we can potentially build. Sun-Kissed Palisaurus, Feather Cataphract, Eclipse Shield, and Accursed. All right. Accursed. Oh, that's going to be like excavated, probably. A sun-kissed cataract. Uh, these are, by the way, these are things that I would have been able to make if I decided to cheat, but I chose not to cheat, which I'm going to regret for sure. Feather Cataphract, and Eclipse Shield. So these are going to end up going back into the deck because I pulled them out in case I was going to cheat, and then I decided not to cheat. Okay, so these have to make the same. There's also Burned Out Grace on here, which we didn't see on the other sheet. I think Black and Halo. Yeah, Black and Halo is on the other one. So Cinder Armor. All right. So first we know what this is going to say. If we've played the other ones before, so this is Accursed. Accursed. The curses of this land are like two-headed cobras. They bite both ways. And this is, you can attach it to a weapon or armor with the Abyss trait, only with the Abyss trait. Did I like not take any of the Abyss gear with me? Because I thought I wasn't going to need it. That would be funny. I think I put all of the Abyss gear back in the box because I didn't think I was going to want to use it. And now that's the gear that I have to choose from at the beginning here. So I'm gonna have to, before I do any fights, I'm gonna have to go digging back through the box probably. But let's pull out anything that says Abyss on it now, so that I know what I have. And it's gonna be very little things. Fudge pickles. So we have an Abyss mirror, which is a shield. Fudge. This was a bad setup here, I think, but whatever. Yeah, so all I have really is the Abyss mirror. So I'm gonna have to like go back through my app and see what other Abyss equipment I have that I can use at the beginning here with this accursed thing. But anyway, um, if I attach it to something with an Abyss trait, it becomes a curse, which gives it power level 4. It will lose the Abyss trait and gain this attachment's traits and reposition 1. Um, and armor will get, you can use 3 fate and discard it to make it wish armor, which you can use against wish attacks, and at the end of the battle you permanently lose whatever card this was attached to. So we're going to pop that over here with this Abyss card, and before we do our loadout for the first battle, you're not going to watch me do loadouts for battles, we'll take care of all that. All right, next we have the Sun-kissed Colossus, 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 Calaceres. It might not look like much, but it survived the gaze of the sun. That gives you one. This I think this new symbol here is the laser attack symbol, so I think that gives me one shield against laser, one laser resistance, or is that one sun resistance? Um, Let me see. Ah, yes, that is sun resistance. Laser resistance and sun resistance look very familiar. So each sun hit will do one less damage to you. Gives you tumble, which gives you a chance of evading things. Tumble. You can roll a d10, potentially avoid crash. You can discard it to say you're shaded. You can use a fire and a fate to turn it into wish armor. And if you have 5 or more danger, you can discard it for a second chance. So that is the Sun-Kissed Colossus, which is also going to go down here. Let me pop all this over here. Probably it's going to be wild. Okay. Next, we have the feather cataphract. Let's like this. Feather cataphract. And it says the remains of the feathery chariot may yet be of use. So one black die armor. You can use a fate to reinforce one, which I think just gives you an extra red die, not an extra any die. Yeah, it's going to be a red die. It has it has resistance to pushback, knockback, and kickback of 2. And I have a bunch of stuff that lets me do that from the burden that I shouldn't have gotten, but I gave myself. And you can also use a fate and tap it to reposition 3 instead of being knocked down, which is pretty cool. And you can also use it for pursuit 3, which lets you chase after something and follow it. And I think that's going to be really important here for that Dahaka fight, because those apparently move. That shadow monster thingy moves around the map. And then finally, we have the Eclipse Shield. Eclipse Shield. And that is for the Throat of the Sun is blacker than Hades. You roll 3 dice with that. You get +3 to hit if you're using it as a weapon. Red dice, 1 extra damage. Oh, you can also combine this with the javelin or the discus so that you can attack from within the staircase. Opening 2, auto break 1, you can use a fate to block. You can use 2 fire to give it evasion 1. And whenever you block, you immediately place 1 opening token in the Kratos pool if you have 4 or more damage. So we're gonna put that there. And that was from that. And then finally, we have the Cinder Support card. And that is this Cinder Support. Cinder Support. Cinder Support. Come on. Cinder Support. Cinder Support. And it says, what knowledge we could glean from the lies of light and the truths of air. This will lead to Cinder weapons and iron protocols. Cinder Support. Adds technology list. Add the things. Read Cinder weapons and Cinder weapons. And I think, yep, Iron Protocols is already there. So this goes into our thing. Blackened Halos, Closed Float Stacks, Wish Embryo, that's a new one, and a Babylonian Contraption, whatever that is. The items that we can learn from here. Is this the pile? I think so. Yes. The items that we can get from here are Refracted Light Elixir, Hermes Guard, Kaleidoscope Module, and Hermes Grappling Hook. So I think some of those are in this other pile here. We have refracted light elixir. Yes. Okay. Clip sword, feather mace, reflected light elixir, Hermes guard, kaleidoscope molecule, Hermes grappling hook. All right. So those are the 4 items that come from Cinder Support. Put that in our book. starting with refracted light elixir. Here it is. This says, in this land of curses, even light kneels. This is a support item. You can use a fire to wish dodge, and wish dodge lets you, it adds add +1 evasion to your roll, but that only works if you already had wish armor. So you need wish armor and wish dodge. You can also use it for unholy alchemy, which will change. I think it changes Midas tokens into ambrosia tokens. Um, gosh, there's so many rules. Yeah, it turns all of your Midas into ambrosia. If your damage is 7+, when you use Unholy Alchemy, place as many black tokens in the Kratos pool as Midas tokens at your turn. See, I'm already overwhelmed with all of these item choices, and these are just the ones we start with. So when we start unlocking things later on, it just gets real wild. And if you watch my Kingdoms Forlorn videos, you'll already see like how much more complex the equipment loadouts in this get than that was. But yeah, sure. Okay, next we have Hermes Guard. Here is the Hermes Guard. Hermes Guard. And this is climbing the iron towers is dangerous but necessary. This will help you survive for a while. And you can use this to Hermes Reflex. But I was told not to read what Hermes Reflex does until I was told to by a game turn. No, that's not true. Hermes Reflex lets you use a Hermes move. But I don't know what a Hermes move is because that's what it told me not to read yet. Then we have the kaleidoscope module. Kaleidoscope module. Here we go. Kaleidoscope module. And this is if Kratos pool is empty, immediately place 2 opening and 2 break tokens or 2 fire tokens there. And then I can also, if it's not empty, I can use this to place 2 opening or 2 break tokens. So I think it's either 2 opening and fire, or I think it's either 2 fire or 2 opening and 2 break is how I read that. If it's empty. And then we have the Hermes grappling hooks. Hermes grappling hooks. And that says, oh, did I read the back of this? Light and wishes weave illusions, see through them. Sure. I didn't. Hermes grappling hook, the major hurdle in adapting the Spartan Hermes gear for Titan use at scale. This is a Titan attachment. It is restricted. You can only have 1 piece of Hermes gear. And I don't see Hermes gear on the bottom of these other 2 things, so I think I can use that along with those. You can use a movement action to Hermes move 1, or you can use a movement action and a fate and tap this, exhaust this for Hermes move 2. I'm gonna have to put the light on a little bit more, even though it's gonna mess up the visuals, because these cards are really hard to read. Okay. I also realized I completely forgot to turn off my dog's feeding alarm. So in an hour, that's going to go off. So I got to get done when I'm going to get done with this video in less than an hour. All right. So then we get 4 cursed cards. So we get all 4 of these accursed cards for free. Boom. They go on our right, which is the stuff that we get to have. Oh, I'm going to need to move all of this stuff over more for when we do battles. I realize. Get 4 cursed cards. I get an Eclipse Sword. Is that in this pile? I get an Eclipse Sword. I get a Burnout Whip. Eclipse Sword. A Burnout Whip. One of these Ember Spears. Ember Spear. A Sun-Kissed Colossus. A Feather Cataract. And an Eclipse Shield. So they give me a whole bunch of this stuff to start with. That's nice. All right, so I get those items. Oh, and then it's going to tell me exactly what I'm going to get from the Abyss gear. if you don't already have them. Okay, so I have to get some of these cards. Hold on. I'm just gonna sing all these cards. Here is all. Alright. Let's see. Woo! Oh, I should. I'm gonna take. What I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this one, put this here. I'm gonna put all of the cards that I'm getting here, so we can look at them together in a minute. Gonna go. Okay, so I need a black Zyphos. Oh, some of these I might have. Black Zyphos. I think I do have. Black Zyphos. Black Zyphos. Black Zyphos. No, that's a hidden Zyphos. A thundering mace. I'm reading these to myself just because my brain can't handle all of this stuff. Okay. So need a bunch of this gear. Alright, I think this is the store that I didn't buy things, not the stuff that I did buy. Oh, Abyssal Spear? Yes. And then Razor Bow, X-Aegis Noble. These are going to be all the Abyss gear, obviously. Um, that works with the the accursed thing. Oh my goodness. Abyss Lynthorex. Black Javelin. Hardened Cestus. Abyssal Watchers. Smoldering Mace. I think an Abyss Thorax. No, I have an Abyss Lynthorax, but I need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. An Abyss Thorax. Wait, 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. So what am I missing here? I have a I need a black. Okay, I need a black Zyphos, and I need an Abyss Thorax. Okay. Black Zyphos and Abyss Thorax. And this giant ass pile that I'm going through, like these are the weapons from cycle 2, from cycle 1. They're all like squished together here. Okay. So these are the things that I get to start with. Oh. So we're not going to read through all of this Abyss gear because we're just not. Because it's old stuff technically, but we're going to put this in a little Abyss pile next to Accursed. And then these are other things that we keep. Some of these are things we did not look at before. So first we have the Burnout Whip. It's a Burnout Whip. And it says, a whip is but a leash revealed. 3 dice to attack, +3 to hit. It has a charge. Reach 2, opening 1. Auto black 1, you can use it to revoke, so that's a tank gear. If there's no fire in the pool, you can get spotlight. You can add up to 3 fire. Each hit has a fire to it, and you can use the charge to do an Hermes move 1. So we're gonna put that there. We have our Ember Spear. We have our Eclipse Sword. This is gonna be the other weapon we get to start with. Eclipse Sword. Eclipse Sword. There it is. And it says, still glowing with divine hatred. 1 die to attack, +2 to hit. 3 red dice on a hit. Black 1, hope 1. We like hope. You can use 2 fire tokens to give yourself an automatic damage. You can do power reroll later on. We're going to put that over there. And so basically 3 of our people will use those, and 1 will use an accursed other thing. Then we have the Eclipse Shield, which we talked about before, and we talked about both of these before. Okay. Now we are going to apply the ascendancy rules of this cycle. So anything we use that is not a cycle 4 gear or with the keyword ascendant or with a curse attached is going to be pretty much useless. Okay. That was a lot. We're gonna take our little mini thing. We're gonna move back down here where it normally is. We're gonna move back down here where it normally is. And we are going to go back to the story. Oh, wait. I have to add these actual items to my armory in here, so that's important. So we need to add a curse. We need 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to add a burnout whip. We need to add a ember spear. We need to add a eclipse sword. We need to add a sun-kissed colossus. We need to add a feather cataphract. We need to add an eclipse shield. And I'm not going to add these other things that it says in there because they already exist in there from my previous game. I just took them out because I didn't think we was going to need it. And then we're going to go to storybook. And we're going to keep hearing more of this story.
The old priest stands at the city ship's prow, beneath the figurehead of Atlas Worldcarer, and squints. On the horizon, a distant landmark stands out from the infinite wastes. It seems tiny, but for it to be seen at this distance, it must be enormous. Massive, unthinkably so. A tower, immensely tall, overlooking the desert and clawing its way far up into the heavens. And there, beyond the clouds and far beyond the eye's reach, a faint glow, like a powerful flame. The old priest feels it in his bones. Powerful, malevolent, all-seeing, and still growing. He turns from the tower to the closest deckhand.
Unbury the mausoleum. Awaken 4. Tell them there is need.
So now we have to take our Memnos vault and create 4 new Orgonauts according to the standard rules, but do not gain Doom. Do this even if you're continuing your Odyssey from Cycle 3, your previous Argonauts have been lost in the Sun's domain. Still, do not add any of their Nemoses to the Memnos vault out of respect for their sacrifice. Once all game preparations are done, go see blah blah. So, basically, all 4 of our Argonauts are dead. So you're dead, dead, cause of death, what is it? Sun's domain. Oh well. Fun. You're dead. Sun's domain. So the fun part here is like if we were starting this cycle from scratch, we would have created all of these characters just to be like, yep, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. And I get it, but it's like just ugh, I feel bad. It's a feel bad. Um can't use my echoes, can't use shit. And these Memnos cards do not go to the Memnos vault. These are all just gone. All gone, 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 gone. Back to the box. Back to the box with all of you. Ah, shoot. Back to the box with all of you. All of you back to the box. 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 And then we have to make 4 new ones. So we get a whole set of new people with the new box. So I get a bunch of people to choose from. So we are definitely going to take Amorphous over here because Amorphous is sexy. Amorphous, since their awakening in the mausoleum, Amorphous has been underestimated by those around them. People see the chiseled jawline, broad shoulders, heavy-set build, and assume them to be some kind of bull-headed brute. Not so, for this Argonaut carries all the shrewdness and cunning of an Atlantean. And if you underestimated them, you've already slipped into their trap. So we're gonna make that our Herodotus. I'm gonna actually take these old ones and put them away. And we don't really use the old Titans anymore, but this is just kind of a way for me to know who's who. So like this is gonna be our tank, and this is gonna be our opener, and this is gonna be our ranged person, and this is gonna be our clunker. I don't know why I used the word clunker, but that's the word that I used, and I'm going to stick with it. It's our clunker. All right. So who is our opener going to be? Let's see. Let's see. This dude's fugly as fuggles. Fugly as fuggles. Our opener is going to be Anathea of Bactria. Here she is, Anathea of Bactria. The Argos crew were quick to assume that Anathea was of Bactria in the shadows of the Silk Road that reaches far beyond the bounds of Hellas to the east. That would certainly explain the wanderlust in her eyes and the fiery restlessness in her heart. Driven by a desire to grasp the horizon and find out what lies beyond the next mountain range, she has taken to the voyaging life of the Argo with gusto. Who knows to which far-flung corner of the world the city ship will take her, and she's going to be our opener. Then we need to have our ranged person. Our ranged person is going to be Hypatia. Here's Hypatia. 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 She is a boisterous, larger-than-life member of your crew, prone to roughhousing and reckless outbursts. Wherever she goes, she brings an air of light-hearted humor with her, able to brighten any dour mood. When asked what she remembers of awakening in the Argonaut mausoleum, she laughs, joking that she shouldn't be here at all, making up a story about being caught up in the nets of the last Titanoctisos expedition. And then finally, our clunker is going to be the very, very, very attractive Actisasios, whose name I can't say because I can't say anybody's name in this game. But he is, while he may not recall much from his time before the mausoleum, there's one thing Acti, we're just gonna call him Acti is certain of. He was once destined for greatness. He could feel it in his very bones in the depths of his guts. This leads him to step forward into leadership, often addressing the crew of the Argo and the disparate peoples the city ship encounters with an authoritative, commanding tone. So we have Amorphos, Anathea, Hypatia, and Actus Nesnios. Actis. And oops. Yeah. Nope. We need Amorphos. Amorphos. Ah, there you are. Amorphos. Boom. And number 2 is Anathea. And Argonaut 3 is Hypatia. And Argo 4 is Acti. And we have our 4 Argonauts. Is there something else to do? Create 4 new Argonauts according to the standard rules, but do not gain due. So do they start with a Memnos thing? I don't think they do. It says do not gain threat. It says to draw a new Memnos card from the Memnos vault. But I only have 2 cards in the Memnos vault, and they're from Cycle 4. Oh yeah, Cycle 4. Take a new Argonaut sheet, draw a new portrait card, add a new Memnos card from the Memnos vault. But I don't have any of these other cards in the Memnos vault. I only have 2. Oh, does this tell me to build one if I was starting a new chapter? Maybe that's... So all the Cycle 3 Memnos cards, except for the ones I had, should be in play. So let's find the ones I did not have in play. Ooh. Can find them. I might not be able to. Ah! off camera doing things and finding stuff that I need. That is what I'm doing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There's all these fighting things, and that's what I need. Let's go all back into this pile here. I need to find Menos. But these are all terrain. Ugh, there's so many cards in this game. One, two, three, two. Those are level ones. I don't know if I'm gonna find level threes anywhere. That's the sure. That's not gonna be what I need. Let's see if there's anything on this other side near here. I don't know where to find these cards anymore. These are cycle 2 things. So where's the cycle 3 cards? I honestly have no idea where I put this stuff, which makes it kind of difficult to figure this out. Sorry for the pause, everybody. It's shoot. No. No. Did I take out a pile of cards that I don't realize I took out is the next question. I don't think so. These are level 2. Would be level 2. Death Recedes, it's level 2. Minoan Heritage, that's level 1. That's more level 1 gear. Look at this giant arse pile of cards that exist. Those are all the level 1 monsters. So it's gotta be all this stuff here. It's to be. I am mixing up my collection so much now too, which is wild. Howard's Way, no. Bloodthirsty, no. These are all the level. Cycle 2 monsters. Cycle 2. Oh, I found a cycle 3. Has to do with bleeding. Oh wait, I can't find these cards. So I've gone through everything that I can possibly think of. Oh, wait. Aha! Nope. I found one. I do not know how to handle this situation. Because I just didn't keep all of these cards. Like I didn't see any need to. Would anything start in the Mendo's fault when you first start the game? Maybe that's what I'm missing. Mendo's fault. Page 30. Mendo's fault. You know, I'm just not going to give any Memnos to anybody. No, it says there should be 6 Cycle 3 Memnos cards in the Memnos vault, according to this. So I have over here the ones that I didn't return. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's why I couldn't find them, because there was 6 of them over there, plus this. So I'm gonna have to just give them the ones that got removed before, because that's the only thing that's going to make sense for this scenario. So, yeah, so we're going to just shuffle these up and give one to each person. So, Amorphos, sorry for that delay, that was wild. So Amorphos is got unearned life. He can get assist, clutch, sucker. Great. That's actually all of these are useless. Okay, place disgraceful parent. Place 1 fire in the Kratos pool. I don't want these time clock things anymore. We'll give priority token to Philiptera and These are all time-based. That's stupid. I'm not gonna give myself something stupid. I just refuse. Here, we'll give Scorn Champion, which is Jump, to you. That was all dumb, and I don't care. It was dumb. It was unclear. I'm not even sure if what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to do here, but it's what I'm gonna do. Um, Unearned life. Boom. Okay. Disgraceful parent. Boom. Hero by mistake. There's also this thing in here called catharsis, and I still have no idea what that is for. Scorned champion. What is catharsis? Is this just been a game effect that I have missed all of this time that I've been playing? Was I supposed to be doing something with catharsis and I didn't? Page 30. Nope, I guess I've never reached a catharsis before. Alright. Okay. So I set all that up. I put all that in the app. We're going to see 13. Okay. Exhausted already, have not done anything. Wild.
It takes a few days for the Argonauts to get up to speed on the events that led the city ship here. And by then, the scouts sent into the desert return with news. The wasteland isn't as desolate and uninhabited as you'd previously assumed. Rush. Your arrival here has not gone unnoticed. The voice, melodic and surprisingly deep, belongs to an olive-skinned woman in a worn white calasiris. Have you slipped in with the scouts? You make an entrance. The Eternal Empire will descend on your ship like a pack of starving wolves, for its voracious greed knows no bounds, and this is a kingly prize indeed. Beware, the High Roller comes. Who? But the woman is gone, as if she was never there, and in her place, an opulent entourage spills onto the Argo's deck. Yes, that is the word, for their entrance seems as natural as it is unstoppable. A deluge of riches.
Marvelous! Oh, simply marvelous!
A man emerges from between enormous fans made of peacock feathers and held by a legion of servants. Ornately garbed in gold and scarlet, bejeweled chains drape from his neck. Black gloves grace his short fingers, while a cowl of embroidered silk encircles a round, almost childlike face, eccentric but flawless like a porcelain mask. A kindly face with deep, piercing eyes of emerald.
I must possess you,
He whispers cheerfully, theatrically, taking you by surprise. Not a great opener, one of you retorts with a mocking smile. We don't take kindly to threats.
Oh, threats! Just lucrative opportunities. I am Midas, a lowly citizen of the Eternal Empire.
Midas of the Curse? The word of which has spread far beyond Persia, reaching even the shattered lands of Hellas. The face of the man breaks into painful sorrow.
Oh, slandered so! It is true I amassed a grand wealth, but these tired hands
He raises them for all to see.
are not gilded, but ambrosia burned. For I rose from the pit of poverty by the straps of my sandals, a self-made man. This kind of accomplishment draws envy and scorn.
He looks across the scarred hull of the Argo.
Great, you know all too well.
He bows his head in reverence.
Oh, Argonauts, you struggle so vainly and nobly against foes bigger, bolder, and worthier than you, the profane and the divine. Everything in this world conspires against you, and still you persist. You persist, and you fight, and you die. And for what? Wealth. Glory? Remembrance? No, for your fellow mortals. Oh, altruistic. Kind of dedication has no price, and so you are priceless. And so I must possess you, for your selfless heroism is irresistible. Argonauts were meant to be together. Set your price. I will pay it.
I freaking love that Midas is basically a drag queen. Can we just say that out loud? At the beginning there was this weird thing where they said or something like that. And in the book here, you'll see there's this it's like this weird wordy languagey thing, which I'm assuming on a later playthrough, like if anybody's gonna ever play through this game twice, yes, I know people do. I will not be one of them. You could probably translate that into whatever it means, is and stuff. Now we have a choice to make here. We can either number one, this man has all the wealth in the world. Every person on the Argo can have their dreams made true. You have suffered enough. What you did in Delphi is enough. The vicious cycle is broken. Do you not deserve a reward? You take Midas up on his offer. Everyone on the Argo lives the rest of their days in his care, with every need taken care of, whatever that entails, until the curses take their final toll. Game over. Your Odyssey ends here. Do not mark any boxes in the Baron Aeon special event. So like if we was playing this as a group, right? And Sally was like, you know what, Greg? I don't want to do this anymore. I did 3 cycles. I'm done. Okay, fine. Game over. You don't need to join us next time. I it's just because everybody's going to definitely choose that choice because it ends the game. Not it's like those movies where you're like, oh, well, if they leave, then there's no horror movie. We're not going to leave. Second thing is, the man said it right there and then. There is no price, and thus there is no deal. We're going to decline Midas's offer to have us. No, so creepers. That's gonna give us this Babylonian debt. So we're gonna add some Babylonian debt to our thing here, and then we are gonna go to paragraph 14 because we are gonna say no, no. I think Noah's Ark.
Hmm, that is a shame. On the course for the shrewd salesman of salvation that you are. But I too am not inexperienced in these matters, and not so easily dissuaded when I find something so deliciously alluring.
Midas smiles friendlily.
I have fallen for you, Argonauts. You will find my advances hard to refuse. Of course, Scheherazade.
The woman from before. She appears at his side, almost as if she sprang into being at the mere whispering of her name. You have trouble remembering truly whether she has been there all along or not. She passes a sheaf of papers to your leader. For just a moment, her beringed fingers brush against their hand, like wind.
Thank you, my dear.
Midas turns to her.
My ever faithful assistant. Now then, these are some temporary travel permits I've procured for you at an exorbitant cost. They won't get you far. If you truly wish to peregrinate our fair empire, you need to learn our customs, the law of bargains, and become part of it. If you want more, and I do know you want so much more, to challenge what is, as you always do, then seek out Xerxes, the immortal god king, for he is the absolute ruler who looks down on all of us from his high up throne with barely a glimmer of humanity left in his glorious eyes. He channels the curses.
Midas smiles again and bows courteously.
I wish you the best of luck and look forward to your glorious exploits in our humble land. I shall return with a new offer, one that will be that much harder to resist.
And with that, he takes his leave, though his magnificent caravan will still be seen on the horizon for many hours. I don't think that man has our best interests at heart, says one of you, and the rest smile, for a merchant rarely does. I said, beware. It's the same woman from before. She is something else. Her almond-shaped eyes betray nothing. Why have you come to Persia, Argonauts? Scheherazade, right? One of you says, and she winces, though slowly nods. We appreciate the warning, vague as it was. You work with Midas, do you not? Forever. Have you come to work with him too? Trust is hard to come by, Scheherazade, and easy to lose. You first. She smiles and nods and says, Midas's advice is sound. You must learn of the local customs. The desert is far from desolate, if you know where to look. Then adds onirically,
Onirically? I don't think I know what that word means. Oniric. I'm gonna look that up. Oniric. Onir. Onirically. In a dreamlike manner or a way relating to dreams. Now that's weird because it gives me, as the player, the option to choose what she says next, which is so bizarre. I really wish Midas was here for every paragraph. Midas is amazing. Whoever the voice actor is for that, whoever the voice actor for Midas is, thumbs up. I'm so glad I got the narration track. Okay, here we go. These are the things we can choose from. Number one, among spired ruins of never was, a group of scavengers is chasing their own shadow. There is a certain quality to them, almost merchant-like. Yet they carry weapons in dangerous intent and glide on Anemoi's breath. We can meet with the scavengers, who are the cloud thieves, where we get diplomacy +1 and we lose one hull. Our hull is maximum is 6, I think. Hull maximum is 5. Hull is the hardest thing to repair. Next, not far from here, a caravan crosses the Black Desert. Strangers in their homeland, going from nowhere to nothingness. They know the region like the back of their hand, and they have nothing and want everything. We can meet with the nomads. We get +1 diplomacy for the wasters, and that gives us +2 Babelian debt. And we don't really know what Babelian debt does yet, but we know it's bad because everything's bad. Everything's bad. Our number 3. A freshly built outpost mars the barren waste. A new power makes inroads into the empire, dreaming of conquest and justice, as if those two ever went together. Will they lend their hands against a common foe, or will they only cause further division? We can meet with the army, the Aristotelians, and we get diplomacy with them, but we lose 2 titans. Now, we only have 10 titans out of our maximum of 20. And me being me, I didn't cheat, which means I'm going to probably lose 4 Titans in the first fight, and I do not want to lose this whole campaign to Titan loss. I don't want to lose the hull because I don't know how hard it's going to be to repair the hull. And my choice here, what I am choosing, is going to be the meet with the Wasters, get diplomacy +1 and +2 of this mysterious Babylonian debt. Now, I am 100% positive this is probably the worst of the 3 actions, and this is meant to be one of those things where if you play the campaign a second time, you just don't do what I'm doing. But I'm doing what I'm doing. So we are going to give ourselves +1 diplomacy with the Wasters. Now, you get a bonus whenever I think you usually get a bonus whenever you get to full allied with one of them, which is somewhere that I really messed up in cycle 3. So this kind of means I'm committing as much as I can to go the Wasters route until they're allied and then switch. That also means I'm going to get +2 Babelian debt, bringing me up to 3, which hopefully won't be too terrible. And then I'm going to see story number 3. Oh, it tells me all the things in here. Story number 3. Now, usually some other bad things happen that you don't know were going to happen when you go to the chapter. So, like, a bunch of more stuff is going to go on here. And other things might have changed. Oh, it would have been -1 crew, not minus. You know what? I'm gonna undo that because I saw the wrong symbol there. Hold on, hold on, hold on. We're gonna lower that Babylonian debt by 2. We're gonna lower that waster thing by 1. We're gonna actually go to the cloud thieves because I think I am okay with losing 1 hull. With one losing, not 1 hull, losing 1 crew, not hull but crew. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that actually, which is funny because if I chose number when would I have possibly lost hull earlier? It just doesn't make sense. so confused. Well, we're going the Cloud Thief route instead, because I'm not worried about losing crew. I read the wrong symbol. I'm not going to call that cheating. Okay. Nope. Story. Nope. Story. Oh. So we're going to go to 0002. That's one that was the most interesting to me, and I was going with the Wasters because I thought it was
Like the finger bones of a dead giant trying to claw its way out of the earth, the immense, pockmarked pillars loom far above the rolling sands, scoured utterly smooth by what seems like ages of sandstorms. The coarse grains abrading away any distinguishing features, save for the dozens of holes that pit them. There, some people make their homes. A vessel lurks in the lee of one of the pillars, a broad wooden keel and flat, wide deck slung beneath several bulbous globes of sailcloth, billowing orbs that swell as people stoke flames in braziers under them. The strange creation hovers above the sands, rope ladders reaching down from it to the desert below. Does it fly? The cloud thieves, Scheherazade muses. You won't find a more charming coterie of ruthless mercantilism anywhere in the known world. If they could be as brilliant and shrewd as Midas, they would. As they are not, they live off what scraps the Empire throws away, and on those less versed in the law of bargains. A rotund man in colorful robes approaches. Though he looks friendly enough, his cutthroat companions and their predatory glances are close by. He introduces himself as Bagher, a trade prince. I see you are not from around here. It is most fortunate, then, that you have happened upon us. The desert is unforgiving and full of people with less than savory intentions. His grin grows a little wider. Take, for example, the no-good scroungers who took over my family's land. He shows you a clay tablet, a deed to the strange pillars and their surroundings. You look to the dwellings carved into the rock pillars, their worn, austere appearance. These have been here for a long time. Their occupants, men, women, children, haggard and impoverished, yet somewhat well-dressed, some even sporting jewelry and other ornaments. Bagher notices the gleam in your eyes and becomes hesitant. Still, he is chiefly a merchant and quickly finds his footing. Such spirit, yes, he says proudly. They seemingly have nothing, yet somehow manage to always possess new baubles. We call them wasters. Apt, yes?
So we're going to lower our diplomacy with the Wasters by 1, but we get 1 progress. So we don't really know what that's going to do for us just yet. My assumption is that it's going to go on the first story card, so I'm going to add things in as though that's what's going to happen, and we're going to give ourselves a progress token on the invisible first story card. Oh, look, we have a progress token. It is a token of progress. Now technically we could put that on Inward Odyssey, I guess. I don't know. I'm just gonna add it there and say that we get a progress token. Great, fantastic. Let's keep going. Wait. Is that going back to
Like the finger bones of a dead giant trying to claw. Well, at least they are not aggressive. He points to the horizon. You need to keep your wits about you, strangers. There's a crusade in progress by ideological fanatics who believe everyone should be equal and have an equal amount of everything. What a preposterous notion. They're violent and they're on their way to the capital. I sincerely hope the Empire grinds them into fine dust.
Oh no, we sided with the capitalists instead of the anti-fascists. No, oh, I should have gone with the Aristotelians. What was the thing that would have lost 2 titans? Well, that would happen. Okay, so we're going to lose -1 diplomacy with the Aristotelians, and we're going to get 5 cursed derelict resources and 2 Argo fate. That's bad. If you get 10 Argo fate, it's game over for the whole campaign.
Lovely people you have here, you whisper to Scheherazade, once negotiations for provisions with the trade prince begin. You soon find yourself swamped in deals and counter deals, a complicated contract signed. You leave with a bargain struck, more than you arrived with, but you know that you stepped into an arena where your opponent was far better armed, and can only consider yourselves lucky you didn't trade away more. At least now you have an ally in Bagher. You hope. As you make ready to leave, you notice some of your crew, mostly new recruits from Delphi, staying in Bagher's camp. The life he promises is easier and more pleasant than the constant grind of the Argo, always heading into the next deadly battle. You don't blame them.
I don't blame them at all. All right, so we need to lose 1 diplomacy with the Aristotelians. Ugh, that's who we should have. They made it sound military, but I guess capitalists like to make socialists sound military. Okay, I mean that is what it is. We get 5 cursed derelict resources for 5, and we get +2 Argo Fate. Very bad. I tend to have bad luck with Argo Fate. And we're gonna go to paragraph 11. I don't know how I'm gonna have time to do all this before. Yep, we're just gonna go with it. All right. Hopefully, we will do this in 15 minutes. We'll see.
You look to the horizon, the sun lazily heading toward the west, moving behind the ominous tower in the distance. What is that, Scheherazade? That is hubris, she says, her voice full of pain and contempt. A jar of evils dreamed up by Pandora, commissioned by Xerxes, paid for by the misery of the people, a folly that is consuming this empire. It grows each day, ever hungry. There is genuine concern in her voice, but she does not explain further.
We get +1 inward Odyssey that we will be able to do at the end of the next story step.
On your return trip to the Argo, the featureless desert plays with your sense of scale. You thought you'd ventured just beyond the city ship, and yet it seems you've moved far deeper into the wastes. Night falls. You trudge up the slope of a large dune, weary feet resisting with every step, when a flash of color catches your gaze. A violet hue shimmers across the skin of the desert, the myriad tiny grains of ground crystal or glass flickering like stars. You look up. Somewhere over the horizon, the sun's domain, where your predecessors won the future of all mortal kind. You feel a strange sense of kinship with these people who you have never met.
You may note the name of one of the Argonauts or Titans that went to the sun's domain on your Argo sheet. Once per game session, if the game reminds you of that mortal or Titan, one of you may subtract 1 fate. Now, I don't remember any of the people that just died, so I'm just going to be like, okay, I remembered something. I'm losing 1 fate during this session. I'm going to completely forget this rule exists by an hour from now. Oop.
You finally make your way back to the Argo, the glow of the Acropolis deck serving as a beacon in the darkness. Alcibiades' artificers have been working tirelessly, excavating the ship from the sands. You can see the titans of the Stoa standing before the prow, hitched to the ship in massive harnesses.
Poseidon's dead hand cast us onto these wastes to drown our hope.
Strangely agitated old priest says when you reach the Acropolis deck.
Our hope can swim, and we will sail these sands.
Can the engines take it? The old priest nods to Alcibiades, who joins you. When the winds blow, things move far more easily than they should, the master craftsman says. The grasp of natural laws has been weakened here. With the help of the Titans, the Argo will make it. As if to echo his words, the city ship shudders, shaking off loose sand and dirt. You look to the horizon, to the malevolent silhouette of the giant tower. Pandora's jar, Scheherazade said. You look for the woman, but she is nowhere to be seen. The tower that holds all evil. It seems so far away, unattainable.
The least likely Argonaut will gain the Seed of Paradise Memnos card, which we will take care of later. Because I'm really trying to get this done before my dog alarm goes off. It's lots of noise.
And then, suddenly, the tower is right there before you, just off the bow, its impossibly long shadow enveloping the Argo Hole. Up close, it is unimaginably tall and massive, crooked and grotesque, porous and unfinished, wet like a snake or a sacrificial offering. Is that blood? Gold? Ambrosia? Giant drops fall onto the deck, splashes like tidal waves. Sirens of the extinction event alarm blare, drowning the shouts of your crew and the excavation teams desperately running for safety. The tower turns around its axis, churning the ground beneath it like a titanic sandstorm, sucking in the Argo, changing its course. A maelstrom. You hold on for your very lives, but many aren't so lucky. The gust sweeps them off the deck, never to be seen again. There's another horror. There'll be another crew member. Oh no. Far above, where the spire pierces the heavy clouds, a shape coalesces from cut stone and ambrosia and malice. And a face, you feel it, the telltale prickle under your skin, the subtle murmurs in the depths of your mind that you have come to know all too well. The screaming, unnerving presence of an AT field. That's no tower.
To the Stoa, Argonauts!
Shouts the old priest.
So, yeah, so we're going to get 4 stock Cryptex cards, which I need to find. And we're going to see the Twilight of the Balanonian rules in the Cycle 4 storybook, and then go to the Pandora Horizon battle on page 164, which is going to be our first boss fight. A few things are going to happen first. So we are going to get +1 Argo knowledge, and I'm going to mark on our timeline that we are going to do Inward Odyssey. 61, so that I don't forget. At the end of the next story phase, we are going to write down the name Penelope in our campaign notes. Penelope. Whenever we think of Miss Penelope, we get -1 fate. Fate once per session, which in our case will mean once per video. The least likely Argonaut will gain the Seed of Paradise Memnos card. Boom, 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 boom. We got a tie. That's going to be Hypatia is going to get the Seed of Paradise Memnos card. Seed of Paradise. That's not it. Over here. Nope, that's 5. That's 5. That's a bunch of 5 stuff. Oh no. Dropping everything as usual. Those are all technologies. Those are all traits and things. Here we go. Seed of Paradise. Seed of Paradise. Here is the picture. Seed of Paradise. The more you divide it, the more you have. Level 1, when you're at danger 2, when you attack, treat the Kratos pool as either Sun-Starved or Sunbask 2 for the purposes of triggering abilities. Okay, I don't know if that's going to be useful for her or not, but we'll see. Hypatia, Memnos, add new Memnos, Seed of Paradise. Boom. Save. Okay, we're going to lose 1 more crew. bringing us to 4 out of 6. That was kind of shitty. And then we're going to get 4 stock cryptex things. Okay, where do those come from, I wonder? Is that this pile? Stock cryptex. Assuming it's going to be near the beginning here. I don't see that there. Stock cryptex. I don't see it in this pile. Let's check this. Whoops. Let's check this file. Stock cryptex. I don't see it in here anywhere. Stock cryptex. Hermes gear. Swords. Wish. Past this. Garden. Hermes. Seeds of. No. I don't know where this card is. I looked through both piles of this stuff. Does it tell me here? It just says 4 stock cryptex cards. I don't see where these are. Stock cryptex. We'll have to look that up later. I'm going to read the rules for all that stuff later. I'm going to set up the fight. I'm going to set up my equipment. I don't know if it's going to happen tonight. This very well might not. Ah! So on the other side of the new sun-kissed fists are stock cryptex cards. Okay, so this is a tightened attachment. You can only get 1 cryptex per person, and it gives you the ability front lines. I think it's a bad one, isn't it? Why would I want these? Front lines. Front lines. Front lines means you die forever, I think, right? Front lines. Front lines. Front lines. Front lines. Not done. Front lines. If your Titan's at the end of the battle, roll a d10 on a 1, your Argonaut dies as well. Why would I want these? It must say something in the rest of the rules about why I would want them. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. So the next video is going to be our first fight once I catch up on this other stuff. I don't know if it's going to be tonight because I'm already exhausted, but thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and whatever you do, keep those health bars full. Thank you and have a great day.